What's going on, guys? Marcus from Wall Street Assassins back at it again with a new video, and this is going to be some of the top stocks I'm going to be watching for this upcoming week. But first, let's start with the earnings. We have a few earning stocks that's basically happening this week. Starting off the Monday strong with Lucid. You know, Lucid has a lot of news with EV stocks. I'm going to be watching Lucid. Tuesday, we have Walmart, HD. Wednesday, we have Target, we have Nvidia, and Thursday, we have Alibaba and Macy. So those are going to be the top stocks I'm going to be watching for earnings. Other than that, we're going to be starting off with our favorite stock, the SPY. We can see that the SPY basically was trading at 470, had basically a pullback, bounced off this 463 price point. If we jump over towards our 1-year chart over here, you can see conveniently that 463 price point was the 1-year SMA, 1-year moving average over here. So you definitely want to watch to see how this is going to basically continue. If we're going to find some type of strength and correct ourselves, want to watch to see if we break above 468, retest that 470, maybe we start pushing up higher after the 470 break towards 475. So watch out for that for this upcoming week. If we see some type of weakness, we want to see a break below 466, then we could start testing 463 and maybe even getting down towards 460. So nice little range that could happen during this week. Let's start off with talking about Tesla. So Tesla basically sold over 7 billion of Tesla stock and threatens to sell more. He's having a little bit of a confrontation with Bernie Sanders, and he actually asked Bernie Sanders, should he sell more shares? So let's see what happens. But you can see the stock was trading at 1250 over here. Basically had a nice little pullback all the way down towards that 986 level. I think once we start to hold below that 1000 range, we could start getting down towards maybe even 939, 936 levels over here. If we start to see some type of bullishness, want to see a hold above 1050. If I zoom in, was some type of support area over here. You can see over here and even over here. So above 1050, I think we could start pushing up towards 1087, maybe even get up towards that 1100 range and maybe even higher. The stock is a little bit more in the oversold side, but as Elon keeps on selling these shares, he's basically diluting the stock, causing investors to want to sell shares as well. So let's see what happens. Next one, we want to talk about Shopify. Amazing jump on Shopify on Friday. You can see the stock's a little bit more on the overbought side, but we basically broke that previous high at 1660 over here. We're at 1675. Want to see if we hold these levels, maybe even push up from 1675 towards 1700, maybe even higher if there's some unforeseen news that we don't know about. If we basically start to pull back, want to see a break below that 1660, then we can start basically pulling back down towards 1632 and maybe even lower from there. Next one, you guys know I love this stock, Wells Fargo. Super cheap contracts, easy percentage gain on this one. You can see that basically we had a pullback from 52 all the way down towards 49. She's starting to find some type of ground over here. Want to see if she basically holds above the 20-day SMA over here. If we look at the 20-day, you can see the SMA is right here sitting at $50.88. If we start to hold above that, I think no doubt she'll start to move back up towards that $52 mark. If not, and it basically shows some type of weakness, want to see if it breaks below the 180-day moving average at $50.70, and then we could test that $49.70. Next one I want to talk about is Lucid. Of course, we got to talk about Lucid. Lucid has earnings this week, Monday after hours. So I want to watch to see what's going to happen. You can see it's been consolidating between 45 and basically 42 over here. I want to see if it breaks 45, maybe even push up towards 48. After earnings, we should basically get some type of ground on what's going to happen with the overall stock. If we jump over towards our 1-year chart, you see the stock was basically trading at 64. This does kind of look like a giant gap fill pattern for me, but anything that could go during earnings will happen. So want to see how they're going to announce their earnings, what's their outlook, when are they going to start being profitable? All that kind of news could start moving the stock in either or direction. So definitely want to stay tuned and be cautious of that earnings date. Next one I want to talk about is Netflix. I actually called out Netflix for our chat room on the 8th. If you guys are interested in our chat room, make sure you guys check the link on our Instagram. If you want to join our chat room, we do offer a lot of stuff over there, basically how-to videos, live webinars, just like this one, where you guys get to answer and ask me questions at the same time. So definitely want to take advantage of that. But let's look at Netflix. You can see I called it out on the 8th for our chat room. You can see on the 8th, it was trading around like 645. Now it's basically trading at 685, getting a little bit more on the overbought side. You can see it kind of double top at that 692 over here. If we break 692, I think we could start pushing up to a 700, even 725. If not, want to watch to see if it pulls back, jump back down towards the 20-day chart over here. I think this level right here, that's 679. You can see 679 with some type of resistance over here, with some type of support. If we start to break 679, we could start pulling back down towards 672. Next one I want to talk about is Square. Square is another nice one to basically look at. Square is basically oversold. So Square is a possible gap fill play or a dip buy situation that we're looking at over here. You can see it's been basically descending. They actually had decent earnings. The earnings wasn't too terrible. I think their outlook was just a little bit terrible, that they're basically saying, hey, there's a slowdown in overall purchasing, which everybody sees that in the overall economy. But you can tell that Square is overall a good company. A lot of these companies are using Square for their businesses. So want to watch to see, once it finds some type of support, you can see it's kind of finding some type of support at 225 over here. I would love to see a break and hold above 232, and then maybe we could start gapping up towards 243. So watch out for Square for a possible dip buy situation. Another one that we basically called out for a dip buy situation is PayPal. It's already bouncing already. You can see that we came down, hit that 200 mark, kind of same situation with earnings. Want to see if PayPal starts to hold above 210. I think we can start pulling up towards 217, maybe even getting up towards 232 for a nice dip buy situation. I actually did a poll on Instagram for the top stocks that you guys wanted to talk about, or top stocks that you guys are watching. Somebody called out CYTO, right? So definitely want to watch to see how this is going to react. You can see it had a nice little spike from that dollar mark, made a high of basically $3.32. This is basically a nice little spike, penny stock move over here. Definitely want to be cautious. The overall trend of this stock has been down. I don't know the news. Let's check out the news, see if there's any type of news going on over here. So they basically have some type of nasal spray against COVID-19. So obviously that news basically spiked up the stock. So if this news holds true, then we could possibly see some more upside. Just want to be cautious because the stock is a little bit more on the overbought side over here. You can see we spiked up to $3.30. This is, any long wick is a sign of stress, right? We went to $3.30 and we basically pulled back down, right, towards that $2.57. So want to see if it holds above 257, then we could start possibly pushing up. If not, clear sign of basically downtrend is going to be the break of the SMA at $2 and the break of the 180-day moving average at 188. Once we start breaking that, we could retrack our steps back down towards $1.43. So I'm going to set my alerts on this one. And definitely want to keep a watch on this one for the upcoming week, especially with that kind of news. Anything with COVID related can be huge lately. SNDL is another stock that you guys called out. You guys can see I probably traded this in the past. So let's clear up some of these lines. You can see overall descending pattern, right? It's basically went from $1.89 to 60 cents. You could tell how any company's doing by just looking at the 180-day 4-hour chart, right? If you guys want to know how any company is doing, you can look at that chart and you can see, hey, is that company doing good or great? But for day trading purposes, or even if you see a long-term outlook, the stock is a little bit more on the overbought side, meaning the possibility for upside is a little bit limited at this time. Most people use the RSI as basically a judge to let them know if it's a good time to get into the stock. You can see that we're very overbought, long wicks, right? Signs of stress. It basically went up towards 99 cents over here and pulled back down. So want to watch to see if it continues to hold above our moving average at 82 cents. I think once we break 82 cents, we could possibly see a pullback, right? If we break 82 cents, let me pan out a little bit, we could possibly start dropping down towards 79 cents, maybe even 74 cents. But if we hold above that, I want to see a break and hold above $1, since you can see we recently tested that on the 11th. Once we hold above $1, we can start pushing up towards $1.08 and maybe even $1.49. Last but not least that you guys called out, Facebook, right? So new metaverse, right? A lot of things going on with Facebook. You can see that it basically was on a descending pattern ever since the metaverse news at 315, started being on an upward trend, basically pulled back down, held at 327, and now we're coming right back up. Facebook is a little bit more on the overbought side. Definitely want to be cautious over here with it being overbought. But I think if we do start to break and hold above 340, right? 340, you can see is a recent resistance, right? We pushed up, something stopping the stock from going higher. That's a resistance zone, 340. Then we can start pushing up towards 346. If not, you can see the most recent candle over here around like 337. We can start dropping down towards 335. If we break this zone over here, then we'll retest that 326. So that's going to be it. We have a very long watch list. Definitely want to keep your eyes on the overall key stocks that you guys see value in. I'll see you guys in the next week. And hopefully you guys all have a green trading week. Later.